All right, you ready to dive in? What question do you want to start off with?
I am. Okay, so my first question is everything feels like a tension, a tightrope of sorts between deciding and allowing, between intention and surrender. How do we best strike the balance that ushers in our best experience?
Ooh, that was very well asked. So how do you find the balance? To me, that what it sounds to me, what you're asking is like, how do we find the balance between like striving for and allowing? Does that kind of summarize what you're asking?
Yes, but also, and yes, and
Yes.
I I'm curious about like when we set out an intention, just having the intention and holding that intention, like how much of that we need to do before we just let that go.
Yeah, so I would say when it comes to like the intention, everything we do, it's all about the energy we come at that thing with, right? So, for example, when you're trying to write a book from the energy of, it's got to be this long, it's got to sell 1,000 copies, it's got to change the world, I've got to get it done in a week, you're going to create a very different book than a book that you're going to write sheerly from the pleasure of writing the book for the fun and enjoyment of writing a book, right? That's the difference between writing a book from a place of stress and pressure and disalignment and writer's block versus doing it for the joy of the process, which puts you in that connected and aligned place, which is really going to allow your book to flow. So the same thing applies to everything, including your intent setting. So when it comes to intent
Mm.
setting, what you want to do is you want to come at it from the energy of, how does Abraham Hicks say it? Satisfied with what is, but excited for more. So
Ooh.
when you have an intent, a desire that pops in your mind, you want to be able to take pleasure in that desire, not from the energy or the aspect of, I need to have that thing now that I realize that I want it, because that's desperation, that's attachment to outcome, that's need. Instead, you want to play in the dream of the desire. You want to play in the dream of the possibility of the desire. You want to milk the desire, not for the havingness of the desire, but really for the enjoyment of the being able to tune in to the concept or the possibility or just the fact that that desire exists. So, I think you're in the collective and you've heard, my billionaire story, right? Where I watched Successions, I really enjoyed it. I got fascinated by what a billionaire lifestyle looks like. I started watching YouTube videos of $50 million mansions and mega yachts. And then literally 4 or 5 months later, I was invited in Fort Lauderdale to come hang out on a mega yacht, right? So I wasn't watching these YouTube videos to try to manifest being a billionaire or $50 million mansions. I was watching them from the energy of just the pleasure of those things. And by being in the energy of the pleasure of those things, the experience of those things began to trickle into my reality.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I just got
Good.
goosebumps.
Does that
I
does
feel
that kind of answer what you were asking? Does that go where you want it to go a little bit?
yeah, it does, especially the play in the dream of the desire part. Like I like that a lot. Like that feels like something that when I'm too attached to something, I can start to just play there.
And
That feels
there's
good.
such a huge difference when you have a desire in mind, focusing on the energy of, how do I make it show up? What do I need to do to bring it into my reality? Like, there's such a difference in coming at a desire from that energy of effort and the need to make it happen versus the energy of just taking pleasure of the existence of that thing, even if it's not in my physical reality yet.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.